Bottom's coming with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Amazon exclusive Marvel Legends X-Men series 3-pack of Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Magneto. Now, as I said, as far as I know, this is an Amazon exclusive, at least here in North America. I'm unaware of what other retailers are going to be carrying this, but this was a set that I knew I had to have. Mostly because, as I've talked about, I'm a fan of that 90s look for these X-Men characters. And while both Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch have it, I was not too interested in getting those. But in order to get that look for Magneto, I had to. For the package, you got this nice open window that fully showcases the figures as well as their accessories. You got X-Men, you got the 80 years of Marvel, you got the X-Men logo there at the top, you got a nice comic book image of Magneto, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver there on the side. Same on that side. Come around to the back, and it says Magneto forms the Brotherhood of Mutants to combat anti-mutant sentiment. But the organization turns it to a family matter when he recruits his twin superpowered children, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, to help him carry out his terrorizing agenda. And then I love how you have different looks for him through the years. So it's cool to have, Magneto, his kids, and, this kind of look with some really cool accessories. But like I said, I was mostly interested in Magneto, but obviously, let's take a look at all of them. So without further ado, let's get these guys out here and see how cool they actually are. Alright guys, so here we have the new Marvel Legends X-Men series, Family Matters 3-pack open up and out of the packaging. And as you can see, we have Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and of course, Magneto. Now, I'm not a huge Marvel collector, so a lot of you guys, well, I should say a Marvel Legends collector, so you guys will have to forgive me if I'm not certain about certain things, such as if there's a lot of just repainting going on here. But in general, I'm really happy with how this set is. Now, starting off first, I'm going to kind of get some of these accessories out of the way. Here we have Wanda, or Scarlet Witch. Absolutely gorgeous looking figure. I do feel like the body on her is been just reused from previous female bodies. It's a very similar shape from other ones that I can't really remember right off the top of my head, but it looks similar. Either way, it's still really very cool looking. She does come with a couple effects on here. As you can see, they just wrap around her hands, giving a little magical sort of look. Get that out of the way, get her kind of sitting right there. You can see they're just these little swirly pink plastic things that look really nice. I don't know what else you would do with them, but they look pretty good. There's a couple little slots kind of done in there where you can kind of put them through her fingers, get her to hold them a little bit easier when you're, wrapping it around her hand or whatever you want to do. It's kind of in a spiral sort of shape, so it's a little bit easier. You just kind of put that around there, and then again you can just kind of wrap that around and just really kind of position this however you want. Just get it on there, whatever you got to do to make it look good. You got that. But due to that, her hands are constantly in this kind of shape, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it's not extreme looking, but you got other hands with Pietro and of course Magneto that I feel like she should have came with some extra hands as well. Overall, it's not bad, but I feel like you could have included something else. Gorgeous head sculpt on here. The hair looks really nice. One thing about the hair, though, it's all fairly hard sculpted plastic, so you're not really going to get much in terms of range of motion for the head. You can kind of get her looking left and right, little bit of up and down, but that's really about it. So not a ton of articulation there. And then of course you can see her cape comes around. One issue that I have with the capes, this one's not all that bad because it comes down fairly decently. Magneto's is a little bit more difficult, but she has a tendency, and all of them kind of do, to want to lean back because of the extra weight of the cape. At least with hers, though, depending on how you have the legs positioned, it also kind of helps to hold her up, which is nice. It gives a little bit of a balance. You can get her to do it without, or you can get her to stand without using the cape on the ground, but you can see she's leaning a little bit forward to kind of offset that balance. So the added weight on the cape definitely causes some issue for the posing. It is a semi-soft material, but it is still mostly hard. So some pliability, but not enough really to do anything with it. Gorgeous paint job on there, though. You can see the arm, the upper torso bit, the legs down here, really nice, kind of swirly metallic red. What looks like just the plastic is done like that, not necessarily the paint. I'm trying to look at some of the joints because that would be a good indicator if it's all just done in the same thing, and I think it is. And then you got the absolutely gorgeous dark red for the midriff area, the upper chest, her crest here, which you can see is in a cool shape, very classic looking, which is amazing. That same darker red down here for her shins, that's just painted on there, and then you got that same color for her cape. Gorgeous figure though, really is. Again, it has that classic look. That face sculpt is just amazing. I mean, if I can get in there, I mean, that is a really well done head sculpt. You can see gorgeous paint for the eyes, really nice clean lipstick. Overall, you can see even a little extra color thrown in her hair. That's really quite nice. So overall, really very happy with her. Again, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were not the selling points for me on this figure set. So it is what it is. And then, like I said, you have her little accessories. Pietro Quicksilver comes with a pair of different hands. You got a pair of fisted hands, and you got a pair of just straight ones, kind of replicating him running. I have one of each on the figure, so it just kind of helps out. But it's just done in this almost pearlescent color. You can kind of see it there. Has a nice sort of shimmer to it, which looks really very nice, but of course on my camera is going to come across very white, so it's probably going to be very hard. But you can see that you can actually get him in a decent running pose. One thing I've noticed about his feet is they seem to be a little bit bigger than a standard figure, which gives some extra kind of balance to him, which is really very nice. This guy looks really good as well. You can see gorgeous paint job with the body. You have that same kind of pearlescent white coloring painted down here on the lower section of the forearms, as well as the boot section and feet down at the bottom. But you can see that the feet do look a little bit bigger. Showing Magneto's here, you can kind of see they're a little bigger and also a little wider. Which probably helps facilitate some of that balancing that you're going to want to do, because people are going to want to pose him running, which makes sense because that's him. So there's that. Absolutely gorgeous blue paint. Looks very nice. It's a lighter color. Sometimes he was wearing blue. Sometimes he was wearing green in the comics. I prefer the blue look. I think it looks a little bit cooler with the lightning effect. You got that. I don't want to say it's the same coloring of this. Looks a little bit more silver on the lightning effect. But taking a look, really, again, really very sharp looking figure. Very clean, very action figure-y. Head sculpt is also absolutely amazing. Coming in to take a closer look, I mean, that is a great head sculpt. Gorgeous coloration for the hair. I love how it's sculpted in a swooped back sort of look. Very cool. You got great detail with his eyebrows, even some wrinkles there on his brow. So really great detail. The articulation on a lot of these figures is the same. Wanda didn't really have it, but you know the normal articulation. The head has a little swivel thing. You got a ball joint for the neck. He actually has like butterfly joints here at the arm, which is cool. I don't really know. Well, I guess, it lets you kind of bring his arm in a little bit more. I don't know necessarily why you need that so much with it, but you got the hinge joints, you got the swivel at the upper part of the bicep, you got two joints at the elbow, you got the hinge, you have an ab crunch, you have a swivel. I mean, all the same articulation that you would basically expect on a Marvel Legend figures. It's pretty standard by this point in time now, but again, overall, really very solid looking figure with him, and definitely has a 90s look, which I appreciate. Again, was not the selling point for me in this set, but is still a nice piece nonetheless. So getting those out of the way. Now we come to Magneto, and this is the figure that I really wanted just because of the look of him. This is the look for Magneto that I prefer. Now, we got a Magneto fairly recently in a Build-A-Figure wave. I forgot which one it was, but it was all black. One of the nice selling points about that was that he had an unhelmeted head. I don't have that one, so I don't know if you can swap it out. I would imagine you can, because that was a extra head. This guy comes with an extra head, so I would imagine you could just pull it off and put it on there. But this is my preferred look, the red and purple look for Magneto. This guy looks great, and I think that it's probably very similar to the original or that other figure that I saw that I never got. So it makes me okay with missing out on that other one. Just like I said, I didn't get that extra head sculpt, but absolutely terrific. He still has that same problem that I was talking about, like with Wanda, where the cape has a tendency to want to pull him back. And you can see this one definitely doesn't go all the way down to the feet, so it doesn't really help too much with his stability. One thing that's interesting, he's got a peg hole here on the back that you can kind of push in there to keep, I guess, the cape from moving around. But you can balance him pretty decently to get him to sneak. Takes a little bit of patience and practice, but you can do it. For his accessories, in addition to the hands that are like this, as if he's summoning something using his magnetic powers, he also comes with a pair of fists. These fists can be used in conjunction with these little effects. Now, we have seen these. I know I've seen these before. I want to say the most recent one would be Havoc, is the one I had them with. But you just put them through here, like you got a little cusp here that just goes around the wrist section. You just put that in there, and you have like this little blast thing of stuff. So, I mean, you got that, but I kind of like just this look. Kind of feels like his head is really high. The neck, it feels like he's got a really big neck on him. So it kind of looks like it just sticks up, which is kind of weird. Not a huge fan of that, but gorgeous paint on the section here around his cape. It's a nice metallic paint. You can see you got a little bit of a black wash here on the cape itself. Again, this is a harder material, still a little bit pliable, but not really too much. Got the red for the suit. The accents are done in this purple. This section right here, his belt is a separate piece. You can see it just lifts up here, so I find myself constantly having to kind of push that down. That's a little bit of annoying, but you know, it is what it is. He does have boots and feet and all that stuff. I do have one minor problem. I'm just going to pull off this head. This one here is more of a I'm using my powers sort of look. You can see it with the eyes primarily. Let's get in there. You can see like the white eyes. The other head is more of a neutral. You can also see that he's grinning. These little, or grimacing. These little pieces here just kind of spread out. You can't remove the helmet. There's no hair, but you can spread that apart, and you can see he's kind of grimacing on his face. This is a little bit more of a neutral look, and then you just got his regular color eyes. This is probably the preferred head sculpt for a lot of collectors. That's what I'm going to use mine as, which I think is amazing. But the thing that kind of stinks on mine, I do have some paint blemish right underneath there. Everything else on these figures have been pretty clean, but I got a little scratch right there, and it's kind of unclean. Unclean, is that a word? I don't even know if that's a word. I'm just going to make it a word. But that's the ugliest part, which kind of disappoints me. You just put this over there. You can use that peg hole. Like I said, you got these little postings on the back that you can peg in there. Just kind of stabilize his cape from wiggling around, I would imagine. And then just take this guy and pop that in there, just like that. But overall, again, really cool look for him. It's my childhood right here. This is what I've loved from Magneto in his look, and how he looked in the comics, the video games, the cartoons, you name it. That's, like I said, his appearance and what sticks out in my mind. So overall terrific set. It's $60, so $20 for a figure. I feel like that's a pretty good deal. You get several different accessories with them. Obviously Magneto comes with more. I feel like he's the main selling point in this. These two figures I'm not going to keep. I'm more than likely going to sell them. I keep my X-Men display pretty focused as to absolute major characters and villains and things like that. And while these two are the children of Magneto, I just feel they're a little bit more B/C level-ish. That's the guy that I want. But I still don't regret picking the set up. If you're a fan, I think that this is a well done set and would absolutely recommend it. It's just for my collection, I'm a little bit more picky and structured with it. So, all that being said, if these guys are a set that you'd like to add to your collection, they are available right now at Amazon.com. For that, I'll put a link down in the video description where you'll go to Amazon and you can check out availability on these guys as well as the rest of the wide range of Marvel Legend figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it, guys, if you would show your support simply by hitting that little thumbs up button. That one teeny tiny gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. I'd also like to send a huge thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this review. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch a video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. Also, I want to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons who, through their continued support, now more than ever help to make reviews like this possible. And finally, remember, grow wise, grow strong, but never grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.